The story starts with the main lead holding a sword on the shoulder of Ianfried Dan Hellsdante, the Emperor of Hellsdante. He shouted, "How dare you! You may also be a Hellsdante, but that won't help you escape the curse." Carnephelia Hellsdante, second princess of the Hellsdante Empire, said, "I would expect no less. I can end Ianfried's life before he gets here. I don't mind being cursed if I can end your life once and for all." Ianfried shouts, "Huh. Is this your final ploy to get his attention?" She is surprised. "What?" He continues, "What makes you think he'll mourn your death? That would happen only in your dreams, little sister. What makes you think he'll forgive the wife that came from the empire, that dragged his country into ruins?" She thinks internally, "You need to focus, Carnephelia. You can't let this bastard get to you." She continues, "I know I'll die if I kill you. The curse will prevent me from being reincarnated into my next life. No one will remember that I existed. But what about it?" She cracks the sword on his chest and says, "Who cares about the damned curse? Strike the killing blow." "I've heard enough of his conniving lies." She slashes the sword, her hands trembling. "The Hellsdante Empire will fall today. We're paying the price for taking advantage of the blessing our God bestowed upon us." She steps forward and kicks him, cheered, until the very end. "My sibling and I were destined to be enemies. I don't have much time left. I can feel the curse pulsing through my veins. It will soon reach my heart." The shouts of the rebellion are getting closer, but it's still quiet here on the final day of the Empire. He should arrive any minute now. Would things have been different if I had killed Ianfried earlier? If I had been stronger? If I had more power? Would I have been able to protect you? "Is it you?" She says, "Now, I'm the only Hellsdante left. It's all over. You may have wanted to have your own revenge. I'm sorry I took it away from you. I don't have much time, so please hear me out. I hope you find happiness. I was the cause of your misery, so I truly wish you can finally be happy. This is enough. I'm sorry. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I love him." Helis, how strange. I feel like I'm in someone's arms. This warmth, this scent. No, it can't be. I thought I felt something warm brush against my cheek, but it quickly faded away. It's finally over. How did it come to this? All I wanted was to see your smile again. You look like Prince Charming when you smile. A boy asked, "Do you want the boy?" She replies, "I do. How long has it been?" "Wait, is this a blanket?" A lady was asking, "Are you awake, Your Highness?" She said, "It's me, your nanny." She thinks internally, "My nanny?" Nanny ran for her life while leaving me behind. How is she here now? She looked at her hands. She threw the blanket, and the lady shouted, "Wait, Your Highness." She ran, grabbed the mirror, and looked at herself in it. "I'm a child. So tiny." The lady asked, "Did you have a nightmare, Your Highness?" Her eyes widened. "A white room, and familiar furniture." "Yes, it must be. I came back in time as a child." The Hellsdante Empire, ruled by a family blessed by God. Those who murder the Hellsdante shall be forever cursed. That slogan has been passed down since the Hellsdante Empire was first founded. It was a warning to those who dreamed of rebelling against the royal family. This so-called blessing of God helped the Hellsdante family stay in power. Carnephelia Hellsdante, the second princess of the Hellsdante Empire. The Hellsdante trademark is hair like spun gold. Yet, the second princess was born with hair as dark as night. And that princess is yours truly. A servant said, "Your Majesty, Her Highness was born with raven hair." Raven hair is considered unlucky in the Hellsdante Empire. The emperor said, "She has the same hair color as her mother. I have the perfect name for my daughter, and that's how my father named me after a poisonous flower, Carnephelia, the damned princess. That was how the others called me. But while everyone went out of their way to avoid me, there was one person who dared to approach me. Your Highness, why are you here all by yourself? I've been looking all over for you. My nanny." Nanny's eyes filled with tears, and she said, "I'm so glad. You finally recognize me, Your Highness. I was so worried." I snatched her hand. Nanny was shocked. "Your Highness," I said. "Nanny, my throat hurts." Nanny chuckled and said, "Oh, What was I thinking? Let me go get something to drink, Your Highness. I'll be right back. I said, sure. Then I grit my teeth and covered my nose. I clenched my dress. What the hell is this? I'm sure I was cursed after I killed Ian Fried with my own 2 hands. I looked at myself. Bony legs. I'm tiny. And frail, too. Let's think things over. I feel pain, so this can't be a dream. It's the curse. Curse? Yes, curse. The curse. Is this how the curse works? This is worse than I thought. If this is the curse of Hell's Dante, I'll gladly endure it. Nanny came back. Oh, Your Highness, she chuckled. Sure you don't need to lie down? The medicine must be working. You won't believe the number of people who sent you medicine to wish you a speedy recovery. I chuckled. Is that so? Nanny said. I feel energized just by looking at your beautiful smile, Your Highness. Here. I brought you some water. I noticed. It's so cold. I asked Nanny. What day is it today? Nanny chuckled. What? Oh, you were in bed for over a week. It's only natural that you lost track of time. Don't worry. You didn't sleep through your birthday. We need you fully recovered so you can enjoy the birthday festivities. In my previous life, how did I answer her? I remember. I smiled back, thinking she was genuinely looking out for me. Nanny chuckled. Now. Please drink your water. It breaks my heart to hear your raspy voice. She makes me want to throw up. She probably mixed poison in this water. Did she think I'd never find out? Nanny, you weakened my mind and body and played me like a puppet. I won't be fooled by you again. I said, Nanny, I think my throat will hurt even more if I drink this. Nanny was surprised. Excuse me, I said. Why don't you drink it, Nanny? Nanny looked surprised, then chuckled, of course. Your Highness. She drank the water and gladly said, Oh, that was so refreshing, she chuckled. My apologies, Your Highness. I drank the entire glass. I said, it's fine. You looked thirstier than I did. Nanny said, You're too kind, Your Highness. She continued, Oh, silly me. Look at the time. I'll go prepare your meal. Please ring if you need anything, Your Highness. I said I will. Nanny opened the door and left. I finally relaxed. Nanny, thinking to herself, said, Thank goodness I didn't mix poison into her water today. I could have ended up poisoning myself. Anyways, that twat isn't her usual self today. It almost sounded like she knew I've been poisoning her. 5 days had passed since I woke up and found myself as a child. I focused on getting my health back on track. I'm tired of being feeble all the time. Try this too, Nanny. Nanny said, of course. Nanny took a bite and said, Yum. I don't know who made it, but this dish is absolutely delicious. Now, please have a bite, Your Highness. Carnephelia said, All right. It's delicious, she exclaimed. But she thought, what is this? The food is so bland. Nanny asked, Is it to your liking? I'll prepare something even more scrumptious when you've fully recovered. Carnephelia thought, well, she won't be poisoning the food for the time being. She poisoned me until I fell sick, then stopped until I recovered. Then she would start feeding me poison again. It was a vicious cycle. This was all for the twisted pleasure of the person who hired Nanny to poison me. Nanny gleamed. Would you like to read a book when you're done with your meal, Your Highness? Carnephelia said, I want to express my gratitude. Nanny looked confused. Express your gratitude? To who? Carnephelia replied, I'd like to express my gratitude to those who sent me medicine. Nanny's eyes widened and she shouted, Oh well. Carnephelia continued, They also sent the ingredients for this delicious meal. Did they not? She thought she must be flustered, as it was all a lie. Nanny hugged her and said, But Your Highness, you're still not fully recovered. I'm worried that you'll fall ill again if you venture outside. She chuckled. You're right, Nanny. Yes, I'll go thank everyone on your behalf. I'd like to pay a visit to just one person today. Nanny, shocked, responded. Excuse me, Carnephelia exclaimed. I can bathe on my own. I'm sure you'll be busy clearing the table. She went to the bathroom, opened the tap, looked at herself in the water, and entered the bathtub. It's freezing. The water's as cold as ice. She started shivering. This is nothing. I must endure this. People murmured. That hair. Is she that princess? Why is she wearing that awful dress? How did she find her way into the emperor's palace? Shh, keep quiet. Don't meet her eyes. Why? She. Did you hear the rumors? That unlucky, Carnephelia reached back. Nanny said, Your Highness. It's not too late to turn back, she said, but we're already here. Nanny gave a questioning expression. Carnephelia said, We've arrived at His Majesty's office. No one enters His Majesty's office without a prior appointment, Your Highness, said the Grand Chamberlain of the Royal Palace. Carnephelia thought internally, How pitiless of you. It's my very first visit to my father, he said. Well then, please wait here. Nanny said, Your Highness, I think we should head back. We don't want to anger His Majesty. We should leave before he becomes furious with us. Carnephelia said, Don't worry, Nanny. I know you'll protect me from His Majesty's wrath. She snatched her hand. Nanny said nervously, Of course, I'll do my best to protect you. Carnephelia thought, Stop lying through your teeth. Nanny grit her teeth and said, Your Highness. He came back and said, Ahem. His Majesty will be seeing you now, Your Highness, she asked. Is that so? I'll see you later, Nanny. Nanny said, Don't what? You want me to come with you? Carnephelia smiled and said, I don't want you getting scolded on my behalf. It's best if I go in alone. The door creaked open. Here we are at last. Much sooner this time. Curade Alpin Hellsdante, the Emperor of Hellsdante. Second Princess, it's been a while. My father, the man who doomed me for life. Carnephelia said, Greetings to the son of our empire. Carnephelia Hellsdante at your service, Your Majesty. Curade Alpin asked, What brings you here? She said, I'm here to inform you that someone's been putting poison into my food and drink. To hear this, all were surprised. Was it under your orders, Your Majesty? Curade Alpin was confused and said, And what if it was? Carnephelia said, Thank you for letting me know. I'll be taking my leave now, Your Majesty, he said. Wait. You didn't answer my question. He smirked and said, Take a seat, she sits, her hands trembling. And she was thinking, I can't afford to make any mistakes. Stay focused. The Chamberlain went near the Majesty and offered Carnephelia a cup of tea. She thought, What if I'm the one feeding you poison? Curade Alpin said, Will you let yourself be poisoned to death? She thought, He's not being subtle about it. I'm sure he finds it interesting that the daughter he tossed aside came to pay him a visit. Good. Continue to show interest in me. I want you to be invested in my well-being. Look at me and notice that I'm alive and kicking. She smiled and said, You have the world at your feet, Your Majesty. And that's why, if you wish me dead, I'll do what it takes to make it happen. The Chamberlain thought, How? How could a young girl speak like that without batting an eye? Curade Alpin thought, The poison has made her frail and her complexion quite pale. How can she be so sassy when she looks like she could faint at any given minute? She's quite something. Carnephelia thought internally, Don't be scared. Stay calm. Curade Alpin said, You'll do what it takes to make it happen. If I ordered you to end your own life right now, would you do as I say? She was looking at him with a smile on her face. Curade Alpin got confused. He stood up and shouted, What is the meaning of this? The Chamberlain shouted, Your Majesty? He thought, Did she bite her own tongue? Curade Alpin said, Carnephelia said, If I may, Your Highness. You dare to play mind games with me, she said. My apologies, Your Majesty. Curade Alpin thought internally, She's as cunning as a fox. She treads the line, but doesn't step over it. Let me make myself clear. I didn't order anyone to poison you. He continued, Now then, tell me. Do you want me to punish the person who made the order? She smiled. I was waiting for him to say that. She said, No. What I want is much more grandiose than that. He was confused and said, What? She smiled. I want to be given a chance, Your Majesty. I don't remember what happened next. Nanny wouldn't stop fussing over me. Oh, the look on her face when the head chamberlain said he'd be visiting shortly. Nanny came to her. Your Highness, she said. Nanny, don't wake me up until tomorrow morning. Nanny grit her teeth with anger and said softly, Yes, Your Highness. Please get some rest. I want to be given a chance, Your Majesty. Curade Alpin thought, Carnephelia. She does the name justice. He said, "Did you say she has no other servants besides her nanny?" The chamberlain said, "Yes, your majesty." "And the nanny is—" He interrupted him. "That's enough." He waved his hand and said, "She was poisoned, but it's not life-threatening. It's clear who gave the order, so there's no need for an investigation." The chamberlain said, "Yes, your majesty." Alpin thought internally, "I thought she'd ask me to spare her life, not ask for a chance to compete for the throne." Giving birth to Carnephelia was the only thing that wench did right. She was dreaming. There was nobody around her. She was alone. Suddenly, she saw a face. "There you are, Carnephelia." Then she woke up. She thought, "I woke up drenched in sweat, all because of a mere nightmare." She squeezed her hand. "My body is too weak for my own good." After I went to see the emperor, Nanny continued to press for details throughout the week. But I was too drained to give her a proper answer. Nanny asked, "What did you discuss with His Majesty?" Carnephelia thought, "I do feel better after sleeping and eating properly. And I'm getting adjusted to this young body of mine." She walked toward the window, opened it, and stepped outside onto the balcony. "It's so cold." "I came to the past with the memories of the future intact." She raised her hand toward the sky. "But one thing hasn't changed. I'm still alone, for now anyways. I need to find people who will offer loyalty and trust. And this time around, I'll make sure my curse doesn't affect you in any way, Princess." "Your Highness." Nanny burst through the door and shouted, "Wake up, Your Highness." She woke up, rubbing her eyes, and said, "Nanny? It's so early." Nanny replied, "Well, the thing is." The chamberlain entered and said, "Greetings to the second princess of the empire." She said, "Oh, the Grand Chamberlain is here." She smiled and said, "Come on in." "What brings you here?" she asked. The man thought, "They say the princess went to see His Majesty of her own volition. There must be more to her than meets the eye." Carnephelia said, "I finally have guests visiting my quarters." They seemed confused. The chamberlain said, "They'll be assisting you from now on, Your Highness." Nanny, surprised, said, "What is the meaning of this dash?" Carnephelia responded, "I'm fine as I am. Nanny has been taking such good care of me. You'll never leave me." "Am I right, Nanny?" Nanny replied, "Oh, of course." Carnephelia continued, "After all, you've been making all the decisions on my behalf. Who to keep and who to let go, it was all you're doing." Nanny, shocked, said, "When did I ever do that?" She said, "It's all a misunderstanding, Grand Chamberlain. Her Highness gets things mixed up from time to time. You may have noticed earlier, but it took a while to arouse her from her sleep." Nanny looked confused and thought, "Why are they staring at me like that?" The chamberlain said, "These people, more so than your nanny, will do their utmost to cater to your every need. And they will pledge loyalty to Her Highness as they should. We'll nurse you back to health, Your Highness. His Majesty also wanted me to relay a message, Your Highness. We'd like a moment of privacy. You may all take your leave." Nanny said, Both servants said, "As you wish, sir." Carnephelia asked, "Did father send his answer to my request?" He answered, "He did, Your Highness," and handed her an envelope. She opened it. "I see. He did give me a chance, but it didn't come for free. I guess I'll have to work harder to prove myself worthy." The chamberlain said, "If I may have a word, Your Highness." "I think it'd be best if you laid low for now, Your Highness. Poison was mere child's play. From now on, everyone in the palace will be watching your every move. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if there was an assassination attempt in the near future," she asked. "But what of it?" The chamberlain said, "Be mindful of the second prince. You must lay low and bide your time. That's more than one word." "My apologies," she said. "Haha, I know you're looking out for me, Grand Chamberlain. And I know it would be safer for me to lay low, but I don't think I can do that." The chamberlain asked, "Excuse me." She replied, "Why do you think His Majesty sent this to me?" "I hereby acknowledge that Carnephelia Hellsdante, second princess of Hellsdante, is now in line to the throne. It seems father wants me to survive by fighting tooth and nail against those who tried to do me wrong." The Grand Chamberlain served under the emperor for years. He was a living witness to the various evils conducted by the emperor, so he was sure his advice would help save the second princess's life. However, the second princess, only 8 years of age, merely smiled at him after hearing him out. It was as if she had the future all mapped out in front of her. The Chamberlain thought, how can she be so sure of herself? She said, you never know what life will throw at you, so you should do whatever you can before death comes knocking on your door. The Chamberlain thought, I was advising her to stay in Ironfried's graces for the meanwhile. Is she really going to throw this opportunity away? She smiled and said, I don't plan on laying low, unfortunately. The Chamberlain said, there will be consequences. She said, is that so? I can't lay any lower than this. Also, I threw down the gauntlet when I asked for a chance to succeed the throne. The Grand Chamberlain served Emperor Karaid for years. You need to throw down the gauntlet if you wish to succeed the throne. And that's why she said the exact same thing as His Majesty. He never forgot the moment he realized the princess and her father were cut from the same cloth. She may be a half-blood princess, but she's of royal blood nonetheless. She smirked and said, Grand Chamberlain, my birthday is coming up. The Chamberlain said, yes, Your Highness. Do you have something in mind for the festivities? She thought, what I have in mind. She said, I want a grand ceremony. There's much for me to celebrate this year. The Chamberlain thought, does she wish to celebrate becoming an official member of the royal family? He said, I'll relay your message to His Majesty. She said, very well. You may leave now. The door burst open. Your Highness, she asked, what is it, Nanny? Nanny asked, what did you discuss with the Grand Chamberlain? She thought, I thought she would at least bring me a glass of water. She said, Nanny. Nanny said, yes, Your Highness. She said, you're the only one I trust. You know that, right? Nanny said, of course I do, Your Highness. She said, I'm sick of living in the shadows, Nanny. Nanny said, Your Highness, there's nothing here. She said, yet, Father included me in the line of succession. Nanny asked, pardon me? She said, he told me I could fight for it. Isn't it wonderful? Now then, go on now. Go relay the news to your real owner. This is only the beginning. Greetings to the second princess of Hellsdante. 5 maids, 6 servants. Where's the knight? This isn't what I expected from the Grand Chamberlain. Would have thought he'd throw in a knight as a warning. They're well-trained and polite, but none of them seem to be fully loyal to me. She smiled and said, you're here in my palace. Does this mean I have your absolute loyalty? A servant said, yes, Your Highness. We pledge to serve you the best we possibly can. She asked, really? Let's see, 2 of you were sent from the Empress's palace. The 3 at the back are from the second prince. The other 2 are from the third princess's palace. You 2 are new, am I correct? And the remaining 2 were sent from His Majesty's palace. She took a sip and asked again, let me ask you again. Do I have your loyalty? Oh, there's no need to be so nervous. You all were sent here with a purpose, but you're working for me now. From now on, it's entirely up to you. They said, yes, Your Highness. She said, you'll have to do your utmost to win my trust. If you make me distrust you, then I'll have no other choice but consider you my enemy. It seems we have an understanding. Now, I want the 2 of you to stay. The rest can leave. Let's see. I wonder who sent you to my palace. I can tell that you both are new. A servant said, I applied for a job at the royal palace after hearing that it was short-staffed. I didn't ask to be sent here. Carnephelia said, you can't talk. Am I right? A servant thought, a mute. She would be the perfect scapegoat, she said. I guess you won't be able to plead innocence if something happened. However, you can speak with your actions, am I right? A servant chuckled and said, speak with actions. You don't know what she's capable of, Your Highness. She's the type of person you should be looking out for. A lady servant near to him attacked him with a knife. He fell down on the floor. She hugged her and said, I've been waiting for you, LL. Carnephelia was always alone. That's because everyone who showed her kindness suffered an untimely death. And once she realized her brother Ianride was behind it, Carnephelia did her best to push everyone away. She mocked them, repelled them. She shouted, didn't you hear me? I told you to get lost. Get out of my sight. But LL refused to leave Carnephelia's side. She thought, don't stay. It will put your life in danger. LL stood by Carnephelia until the very end. A prince said, "You finally made it, my lovely sister. I found a filthy bug in your palace, so I took care of it for you. Mark my words, Carnephelia. You're going to be alone, forever. As long as I'm alive and breathing," she said, LL. "I swear to destroy your enemies until the day I die," she thought. Hasn't changed a bit. Mommy must have been a scary person to have prepared you on my behalf. Just what did Mommy teach you? For you to be so unconditionally loyal. She said, "You're my people now. So I don't want you to harm yourself anymore. The only person I fully trust. And now my trustworthy servant. Thank you for coming, LL. Help me turn this filthy royal palace upside down." So he was hiding these daggers. Now I remember. He was an assassin sent by Ian Fried. The room reeks with the smell of blood. I'm losing my appetite. Nanny burst through the door and shouted, "Your Highness, it's time for..." She got shocked and thought, is that a body? What's going on? She hugged Nanny and said, "Nanny, I was so frightened." That servant suddenly crumbled to the floor and the carpet started to turn red. Nanny thought, suddenly, was there an assassination attempt? Then why is the princess still alive? This doesn't make any sense. Carnephelia said, "By the way, I'm hungry." Nanny was shocked. After some time at the dining hall in the second princess's quarters, they had to dust off the dining hall so she could have her meal there. Oh, the look on Nanny's face. She was sure Nanny was wondering why she survived and the servant did not. The new staff will try their best to win my trust, in order to gain control over me, just like Nanny did. So I'm sure there's no poison in the food, she said. It looks delicious. Poison or not, I think I could eat to my heart's content. The servant said, "Allow us to check the food for poison." "Why, Your Highness," she replied, "it's fine. I know you didn't poison my meal. There's no reason to be so worried. I look forward to my next meal." As she was stepping outside, the servants were thinking, "She's so young and frail." Another said, "Yes, she's still a mere child." They whispered to each other. She hardly touched her food. Was she really being poisoned? She just saw a person die. I'd lose my appetite too. Carnephelia thought, I need to find my people. I need people who pledge loyalty to me for who I am, but there must be a justifiable reason for their loyalty. She said, "LL, there's something you need to know. Do you know the blessing Ian Fried received from our gods? Those who dare to end his life will be cursed. That is his blessing. And because of that curse, I'm back in the past living my second life. In my past life, Ian Fried took everything I ever loved away from me. I got my revenge by beheading him, but the curse brought me back to the past. I'm sure you're having trouble understanding this, LL. You did your best to protect me in my previous life. But back then, I was weak and powerless, and I could do nothing to prevent your death. I'm not going to let that happen this time around. I'm going to become the emperor, and I'll bring the Hell's Dante Empire down in ruins. I shall protect the people I love. So brace yourself, LL. Serving a cursed princess won't be easy. Your wish is my command." Evelyn Vett was never faithful to Carnephelia. Her loyalty didn't lie with the princess. Her master had promised her a hefty compensation in return for staying close. She had 3 missions. First, keep an eye on the princess at all times. Second, make sure she stays ill. Lastly, make routine reports on her condition. Evelyn was confident. She believed the second prince would eventually ascend the throne. That meant her reward was guaranteed. To her, Carnephelia, just a mere child, was hardly worthy of her master's efforts. And in a twisted way, Evelyn was having the time of her life. She chuckled as she called out, "Your Highness." Despite being a half-blood, the second princess was still royal. And Evelyn had her right under her thumb. That alone gave her an intoxicating sense of power. But suddenly, Evelyn noticed something unsettling. The princess, she wasn't behaving like herself. When did the second princess start paying attention to other servants? Why did she go see His Majesty? Has she already entered puberty? Panic crept in. I have to get her back under my control. Grabbing her shoulder tightly, Evelyn demanded, "Your Highness, you must tell me what happened to you yesterday. I heard that you asked everyone to leave except for the 2 servants. Why didn't you call for me?" You could have been in grave danger. But Carnephelia only thought one thing. Balthing. She really tries hard. But now's not the time. Instead, she smiled and asked, "Were you concerned?" Evelyn's voice rose in frustration. "Of course I was worried. So tell me, why did you ask those two to stay?" But Carnephelia interrupted her with a soft, unsettling calm. "What would I do without you?" Evelyn froze. "What?" Carnephelia continued. "You always look out for me. You left me in the dining hall on my own, so you could gather information about the dead servant, right?" Evelyn shouted. Well, Carnephelia's gaze sharpened. "Who is he? Who sent him to my palace? Was it my father? Or Her Royal Highness? Or was it Your Highness?" Evelyn cried, clearly shaken. "You must watch what you say." But Carnephelia pressed on, voice unshaken. "Do you wish to know what that servant did in my room? He ended his own life while cursing me. He told me not to leave my quarters again. He said it was a warning, then he slit his own throat. I need to find out who sent him so I can keep myself from harm. Do you know who sent the servant?" Evelyn could only think, "I'm sure it will feel like your master was sending you a warning." But aloud, she snapped, "How would I know, Your Highness? Anyways, there's a reason why I tried to keep you from visiting His Royal Highness. You'll be fine if you stay inside your bedroom. I'll do my best to keep you safe." But Carnephelia only chuckled. "But father already promised to throw me a lavish birthday party. His Royal Highness wants to formally introduce me to the world. It would go against his wishes if I were to stay in my room. I like having my head on my shoulders." She smiled softly. "The warning was scary, but I'm fine. You know why? You always told me. You said you'd always keep me safe. Now then, what should I do? Oh, I should take a bath first. Could you fill the tub?" She turned. LL. "Follow Nanny, and when you can, fetch the items I asked for." Haha, she just ran off. No, Carnephelia thought, now's not the time. The political tide was shifting. With the death of the first prince, the nobles had dared not question the second prince's rise. But His Royal Highness was known for his fickle temperament. That is, until Carnephelia was given the right to succeed the throne. Her sudden emergence shook the very foundation of power. Nobles whispered. Doubts spread. How can the second princess be in line to the throne? We've never even met her. She is a half-blood princess. She doesn't have what it takes. In a crowded hall, a young noble scoffed. TSK, TSK. Why are they constantly gossiping about the royal succession? His friend flinched. Ugh, young master. Be mindful of what you say. Someone might hear you. What did I do? The young master replied innocently. I have no intention of joining in on their foolish gossip. But the friend didn't agree. It's not foolish gossip. Your father told you to play nice with the members of high society. I don't get what my father sees in them. Your father has a knack for recognizing people of importance. The young master smirked. Is that so? Do you also support the second prince, who, by the way, is the spitting image of His Royal Highness? Everyone in that room was hot for the second prince. Oh, please stop, young master. Someone will hear you. The mood shifted. Anyways, where do you think you're going? You must introduce yourself to the second prince today, young master. But something was off. Wait a minute, young master. What are you trying to do? Why are you climbing up the banister? Excuse me? Are you listening? Don't tell me you're trying to play hooky again. From the windowsill, the prince called out, I'm going to see the Duke of Svenbach. You can tell father whatever you want. See ya. No, his companion cried. He leapt from the window and vanished outside. Young master, the flustered friend sighed. I should have known when he agreed to come willingly to the banquet. Ugh, what should I tell the Marquis? Nasquin d'Argent, you little rascal. Meanwhile, Nasquin had his own thoughts. Ianride Helsdante, the second prince of Helsdante, a cold-blooded bastard. If he ascends the throne, all hell will break loose. So now's the perfect time for the second princess to make her grand debut. Her mere presence has caused a ripple in Ianfride's otherwise smooth road to succession. The only catch is that no one really knows much about Carnephelia. What if she's just as evil as Ianfride? That would change everything. I know father isn't happy about my friendship with the Duke of Svenbach. I wonder what his grace has to say about this. He's the one with a real knack for catching things. I know nothing about the dark-haired princess. Carnephelia, I hope you will be the light of the royal family. If you do, I'll gladly play the role of your supporter. But just then, the glass window shattered. A knife glinted, held just inches from Carnephelia's neck. She didn't flinch. "Who the hell are you?" The man was stunned. A knife at her throat, and yet, she smiled. "Are you smiling?" he asked in disbelief. Without blinking, Carnephelia looked to her loyal servant. "LL, break his neck, and make it quick." LL obeyed without hesitation, grabbing the assassin by the face and slamming him to the ground with a sickening thud. Carnephelia chuckled. "Now then, what shall we do with him?" She watched the lifeless body and thought to herself, "This never happened in my previous life. They sent an assassin as soon as the news spread that I was now in line to the throne. How very transparent of them." Suddenly, her face lit up with an idea. "I know. Let's leave his body in the royal fountain. I want everyone to know that someone paid me a visit in the middle of the night." LL knelt down, uncovered the assassin's face, and handed a small pellet to Carnephelia. Then, without a word, she hoisted the body over her shoulder and walked out. Carnephelia studied the poison. They gave a poison pellet to an assassin who came to murder an 8-year-old princess. They seemed to be more on edge than I expected. Well, she smiled to herself. There's nothing wrong with that. The next day, the door burst open. A booming voice echoed through the princess's chambers. "Search every nook and cranny." "Yes, sir," 2 knights answered in unison. A maid shrieked in outrage. "How insolent of you! How dare you barge into the second princess's quarters without notice?" The commander replied without remorse. "We're only following orders of the High One. Getting in the way would be a direct act of disobedience." But then Carnephelia spoke, calm and calculating. "So, did the High One order you to search the quarters of a young, bedridden princess?" The commander hesitated, then admitted, "We found an unknown body inside the royal fountain, and we were given orders to search the entire palace." Carnephelia chuckled. "And what does that have to do with me?" The man smirked. "Well, we'll find out, won't we?" "What is she going to do about it?" He thought, "She's just a powerless princess. You can feign arrogance, but you won't fool me, half-blood." She's pretending to be calm, as if she were a real royal. "So, what were the knights doing while the body was being dumped in the royal fountain?" Carnephelia answered coldly, "I only have servants in my quarters. Searching my rooms will only end up embarrassing the High One, don't you think?" He raised his voice. "Watch what you say, Your Highness. Be what it may, we were given orders to search the entire palace. We apologize for the inconvenience, Your Highness." But inwardly, even he admitted, "She's more clever than I thought." Carnephelia gave a small smile. "I see. I do hope you'll give me some privacy so I can get dressed. I can hardly go out in my nightgown." "Thank you, Savant." He froze. "How does she know my name? I must have heard wrong." "How could she know the name of a mere knight?" He straightened. "Understood, Your Highness. Do make haste." She turned to her maid. "Don't speak up unless I tell you to. You don't want to die here." The maid quickly bowed. "My apologies, Your Highness. I'll be more careful from now on." Carnephelia's voice softened, deadly calm. "Don't look out for me, let alone try to protect me. It's not worth losing your life over. Focus on what your master told you to do. I'm telling you this for your own good." The maid stammered. "That wasn't my intention. Don't interfere. Stick to the spying, so you can survive." The maid, now trembling, asked, "But what about you, Your Highness? Those knights could have hurt you just now." But Carnephelia simply replied, "Oh, but I'm different. I'm a royal, just like your real master." She glanced at the door. "Are we finished? I need to get going. I don't remember the last time I came out on a walk. I'm sure everyone is busy preparing my meal in the garden. Nanny is probably looking for me right now." And as she left, she whispered to herself, "Thank goodness I came to as a child. I don't get noticed because of my size, and everyone lets their guard down because they think I'm too young." LL walked beside her, clearly concerned. "Concerned about Carnephelia's safety?" she asked. Carnephelia nodded. "There's a reason why we came out for a stroll. LL, have you heard of the ghost of the royal villa?" She looked toward the misty hills ahead. "She's a poor soul, alive, but hardly living. Still in search of the daughter and son she lost in the battle for succession. The former empress, rumored to have gone mad. They say the former empress waits forlornly in the villa for the return of her deceased children. No one wants to set foot there." She smiled gently at her servant. "Oh, I can manage on my own from here on, LL. You can head back to my quarters. I'll be back shortly." LL nodded silently and departed. Carnephelia looked around as she walked alone. "I see yellow flowers here, and there. Her palace is full of yellow flowers. The color yellow stands for longing. The scent of the flowers is overwhelming. And then she stopped. Standing before her was a woman. There she is. As Carnephelia stepped deeper into the villa, she glanced around, frowning slightly. I don't see a single servant here. Is it because she lost favor with the emperor? From the shadows, a woman slowly approached her. Is it you, Marie? The woman asked gently. Marie, my poor baby. She stepped closer, her voice cracking. Mommy knew you were alive. You grew up to be such a beautiful child. Carnephelia stood still in her arms, letting the woman hold her. Her embrace is warm, she thought, yet empty. And then she spoke firmly. Snap out of it. Empress Latina, you don't have time for this. If you truly cared about real Princess Marie, you would get your act together. The Empress's eyes widened in shock. Who are you? Carnephelia stepped back and introduced herself clearly. Carnephelia Hellsdante at your service, Your Majesty. The Empress blinked. Carnephelia, that's the name of the second princess. Why did she come to see me? Suddenly, Carnephelia's eyes darted to the side. Is someone coming? What should I do? It won't do me any good if they find out that I'm here. A sudden jolt of fear. Hide behind those bushes, the Empress whispered quickly. Without hesitation, Carnephelia ran and crouched behind the thick leaves. A commander arrived. Excuse us, Your Majesty. Did you see anyone here? I thought I heard you talking with someone. Another knight added. If you'll excuse me, Your Majesty. But before he could finish, Latina gently took his hand. Is it you, my son? The soldier stiffened. Pardon me. She giggled softly, completely lost in the moment. Oh, it's you. You came for me. Do you know how long I've waited for you? How could you not visit your mother for an entire week? You seem to have grown even taller. One commander whispered. She took you for the deceased prince. The other sighed. I told you she was talking to herself again. She's lost it. 5 years has passed since the first prince passed away. He turned back to her. Please get some rest, Your Majesty. Carnephelia, still hidden, watched silently. How insolent. The former empress may have lost her mind, but she was once the empress of Hellsdante, and she's taking the insults in stride, as if she has no choice, just because she's deemed weak. That's why people crave power. They don't want to be looked down upon. After they left, Latina turned and called softly. Why don't we head inside? Inside, the empress gestured to a seat. Have a seat. Carnephelia sat down. Latina took a sip of tea and asked, So, what made you come here to see me? Carnephelia replied without hesitation. I thought hard. I knew there must be someone with the same enemy as mine. Someone who wishes a violent death upon the current empress, the second prince, and their supporters. Someone who hopes to strip them of their power. Who else would want that, I wondered. And that's why I came to see you, Your Majesty. I seek your support, Your Majesty Latina. The Empress looked her over. She's a mere child, but she seems to have a will of steel and a strong desire for revenge. Second Princess, you're rather strange. I'm having trouble figuring you out. Carnephelia continued. I sat there and let them take everything away from me. But I won't let that happen again. I'm going to take the Hellsdante Empire away from them. Latina asked, You'd do that, knowing you could lose everything? Carnephelia looked her in the eyes. I have nothing to lose. The only thing I have left is my heart and soul. The Empire has taken everything else, and I'll do whatever it takes to ensure its fall. Latina stared at her. But those eyes, I can see the truth simmering within. Everything she said just now rings true. She sat upright and said with new clarity, You seek my support. Well then, can you tell me more about this plan of yours? Carnephelia smiled. Of course, Your Majesty. The Empress stared deeply into Carnephelia's eyes. You have such wondrous eyes. When I look into them, my fears seem to melt away. How extraordinary. She pressed her hand to her chest. All I have is this body of mine. Yes, I'd like to help you and protect what is mine, whatever that may be. But then, her voice shifted quiet, serious. However, I have one condition. Carnephelia nodded. What would that be? Anything within my power. The Empress didn't hesitate. Will you give me the honor of beheading Dicella Rachel myself? I didn't think she'd want to get so involved, Carnephelia thought. Dicella Rachel, mother of the second prince, and the current empress of Hellsdante. She answered, I'll make sure that happens, Your Majesty. The Empress chuckled. Thank you. Now that I've heard what you have planned, what exactly do you want me to do? Carnephelia explained calmly. Not long from now, His Royal Highness will pay you a visit. When he does, can you treat him like you did when you were the Empress of Hellsdante? Latina raised an eyebrow. You want me to treat him as I did when I was the Empress? Carnephelia affirmed. That's right. She gave a quiet nod. Fine. I'll play along. Carnephelia leaned in slightly. Will you be all right? The Empress answered softly. You've given me a reason to live again. I look more than forward to it. She stood up quickly. Oh, I almost forgot. Will you wait here for a moment? She returned with a box. Please accept this. Carnephelia opened it slowly. Could this be? Did this belong to Princess Marina Belle? Erolitina smiled sadly. I made it myself so Marie could wear it on her 6th birthday, but I never got the chance to give it to her. It's time the dress met a new owner. I hope you enjoy it. Carnephelia hesitated. Thank you, Your Majesty. Cradling the box in her arms, she stepped out of the villa and made her way back to the castle. Looking up at the palace gates, she whispered, Now then, back to the birdcage I go. Suddenly, a maid screamed. I found this child collapsed on the floor. Another rushed over. Wait, isn't she? The second princess. What is she doing here? There's dirt all over her dress, as if she had taken a tumble somewhere. One maid whispered. Could it be, right? It must be. They must be referring to their real owner, Carnephelia thought. An hour later, the royal chamberlain stormed in. That was reckless of you. Carnephelia blinked. What was? He shouted. You pretended to faint in front of the Empress's palace, Your Highness. The entire palace knows what happened. Everyone believes the Empress tried to hurt you because you're now in line to the throne. Calmly, she responded. Why are you so upset? There are facts within those rumors. You of all people should know, Royal Chamberlain, just like you know who sent the assassin to my bedroom last night. She stared at him. You look like you have a lot to say, but why don't we let bygones be bygones? I should be the last thing on your mind. For the flower that the entire palace forgot about is ready to bloom once again. The Chamberlain froze. What do you mean? She'll no longer show benevolence to the staff. In fact, she'll bloom even more beautifully than before. She told him. Keep your eyes wide open. Understood, Your Highness. But he thought to himself, does she mean for me to relay her message to His Royal Highness? He bowed. Please get some rest, Your Highness. She turned around. LL, you're back. Welcome back. Did you manage to find it? She nodded. You did good, LL. LL handed her a small bottle. Carnephelia took it and smiled. Now find another bottle just like this one and slip it into one of Nanny's pockets when you have the chance. LL paused and raised her hand, noticing Carnephelia's hands. She asked quietly. Carnephelia answered, Oh, this happened while I was digging a hole in the ground. It doesn't hurt. She injured her hands while burying the box. Carnephelia reassured her. There's nothing for you to worry about. LL gently squeezed her hands. Carnephelia chuckled. Thank you for looking after me, LL. That night, the Emperor sat in quiet thought. She may no longer be the Empress, he mused, but she's still my wife and a part of the royal family. He clenched his fist. So how can her quarters be in shambles? He opened the creaking doors and stepped in. Erolitina, she turned to him gracefully. Greetings to the son of our empire. Did she have a hunch I'd visit? The Emperor wondered. She's groomed and dressed properly for a change. He walked over and brushed his hand along her cheek. Are you still upset with me? She clenched her fist. You promised to make me the most noble woman in this empire. Is this your version of noble? She suddenly embraced him. Are you going to make me wait for you all alone? Spending time alone has done her good, he thought. They said she lost her mind, but she seems to have gotten more obedient. Tears welled in her eyes. You're all I have left, Your Majesty. Please don't leave me. I don't have to be the Empress again. As long as I have you by my side, I have just one wish, Your Majesty. He asked, and what is that? She looked at him. Please come visit me time to time, like you did today. He chuckled. Haha, this is the Erolitina I know and love. My docile, beautiful flower, he thought. You're my flower, destined to sit pretty in my crystal vase, to be enjoyed by me and myself only. Just then, the Chamberlain rushed in. Your Majesty, please forgive my tardiness. Don't fret. I know you purposely came late so I could get some rest. His tone darkened. Anyways, behead the guard here and send the head to the Empress's palace. Also, send more ladies in waiting to serve Erolitina. That should do for now. I have a feeling the little twat was involved in Erolitina's change of attitude. He tightened his cloak. I can put on the coat myself. The twat said she wanted an opportunity, he thought. An opportunity, indeed. Then he turned to the Chamberlain. Royal Chamberlain, let's hold the second princess's birthday banquet at the West Banquet Hall. The chamberlain flinched. But that's where the third princess. Don't forget to send out invitations to all members of high society. Your Majesty, it's the second princess's first birthday banquet. It should be an elaborate feast. Back in Carnephelia's room, the maids knelt nervously. Please forgive us, Your Highness. We failed to protect you. There's no sincerity in their words, Carnephelia thought. They won't last long in the royal palace. She replied calmly, it's fine. I know you didn't mean for me to get injured. I did hear your reputations have taken a harsh blow. Let's strive to get your reputations back on track. That's the only way to ensure our survival, wouldn't you agree? One maid bowed deeply, thinking to herself, yikes. Our eyes met. Her Highness doesn't seem to have the best impression of me. You can leave now, Carnephelia said. As the maids exited, one whispered, it's difficult to get into Her Highness's graces. How did that girl LL manage to win her over? Another replied, LL is powerless. Maybe that's how she gained the princess's trust. That's strange. You would normally be more suspicious toward a nobody. Her Highness seemed to be in a bad mood today, one maid thought. It was frightening. Even so, she didn't scream or hit anybody, and how can she be so small and cute? She must be the same age as Jamie. I miss my younger siblings. Oh, I'm on my way, Your Highness. Did you call for me, Your Highness? After comparing her to my little brother, I feel less nervous around her. I want to read a storybook, Carnephelia said. Shall I go fetch you one? Oh, the thing is, she replied, I've read all the storybooks in the royal palace. Nanny always stops by a certain bookstore whenever she leaves the palace. I'd like you to go there on my behalf. Do you think you can do it? Of course, Your Highness. The maid beamed. I'll bring you back something interesting for you to read. She's more innocent than I thought, the maid thought. I didn't think she'd ask me to fetch her a storybook. She's cuter than Jamie. She turned a corner and bumped into a woman. Where is Her Highness? The lady asked. This voice, is it the nanny? She's in her room. Why is she in such a rush? And what's with the look on her face? Suddenly, a slap rang out. I told you this room is the safest place, the nanny yelled. Don't try to leave this place. You don't know what will happen to you. After you kicked me out, you ventured outside and came back with injuries. And now it will be on me for not taking care of you, Your Highness. Didn't I say it again and again? The world is a dangerous place, and everyone hates you, Your Highness. They're just waiting for the right opportunity to harm you. See? You didn't listen to me and ended up catching a cold. I'm the only one you can trust. There's no other person in the palace who looks out for you like I do. Carnephelia looked up. Then will you stop feeding me poison? Her voice cracked. I'm sorry, Nanny. I'll do whatever you say from now on. I won't step outside ever again, and I promise not to complain about being hungry. I won't ask for another servant, either. I promise not to get in your way. Her voice trembled. So could you please stop putting poison in my food and drink? My body hurts when I eat poisoned food. I cough up blood. I feel so sleepy, but I'm scared that I'll never open my eyes again. It hurts. It really hurts. That's enough, the nanny screamed. Stop talking. What if someone hears you from just beyond the door? A maid stood frozen. She had heard everything. The maid stood frozen behind the door. Did I hear correctly? Poison. Her hands trembled. Was the nanny poisoning the second princess all this time? Why would she do that? I thought she genuinely cared for the princess. From inside the room, the nanny yelled, How dare you spew such lies? But Carnephelia stood firm. But think about it, nanny. Where else could I have been poisoned? You're the one who's been taking care of me all this time. The nanny snapped back. You've been acting strangely ever since that new servant girl came to your palace. You need to get treated. We don't want you talking nonsense in front of His Royal Highness. I'll do everything in my power to stop your lies. It's my duty as your nanny. How can a nanny be so cruel? The maid thought, still listening. What should I do? I need to call for help, but who? Her hand froze midair. I don't know who to call. Who would help the second princess? The royal guards? No. Judging from their behavior, they won't help. And the nanny beat the princess, like she'd done it before. It reminded her of someone. Princess Renabella Helsdante. And just like that, Trua realized something. The nanny and her true master had something in common. At that moment, she collected herself and became calm once more. Her Highness was right. She thought, a mere servant like me won't do Her Highness any good. Since I can't help, I have no choice but to turn a blind eye. She remembered Carnephelia's quiet warning, don't interfere. Stick to the spying, so you can survive. So this was what she meant. How could I ever compare her to my brother Jamie? She stood straight. I need to go find a storybook for Her Highness. That's my job. A storybook. Later, the nanny stood smiling. Did you enjoy your meal, Your Highness? I hope you were able to reflect upon your actions last night. Carnephelia spoke softly. I did, Nanny. Good. The nanny nodded. I have faith in you, Your Highness. I trust you won't be accusing me of such falsities again. A pause. Why aren't you answering? Yes, Nanny. I was wrong. I won't lie to you again. She smiled proudly. That's a good girl. I have to go out for a bit. Stay out of trouble. Yes, Nanny. The door closed. Carnephelia turned to the shadows. Now that the troublesome tyrant is out of the way, she smiled. Come in. I've been waiting for you. Trua. She looked hopeful. Did you bring me a new storybook? What's wrong? Were you unable to find a new book? Trua bowed her head. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I'm really sorry. There was nothing I could do, Your Highness. Carnephelia gently placed her hands on Trua's cheeks. Are you sorry that you don't regret your actions? Or are you sorry that if something similar happens again, you'll still make the same choice? Did you know? Turning a blind eye to violence is also a form of abuse, especially if it happens more than once. But I am a princess, you know. What makes you think I won't be getting my revenge? Trua fell to her knees. Please spare me, Your Highness. I was merely trying to. Carnephelia spoke softly now. Yes, I know you have a big family to support, including your younger siblings. Then how about this? If you could turn back time and go to the beginning, who would you serve? The third princess or myself? Carnephelia narrated in thought. Trua Helton. From the information LL gathered, she is the eldest of a low-class family, sold to the palace to pay her father's debts. Commoners like her are disposable here, easy to eliminate if things go awry. Yet, she still sends money and letters home. She's soft-hearted, naive. That's why she looked out for the cursed princess, with hair as dark as night. And that's why she fell so easily into my trap. Poor thing. Trua asked, would you take a commoner like me under your wing, Your Highness? I know I'm not as clever as the other servants, and I was too scared to go ask for help when you were suffering. Are you still willing to take me in, Your Highness? Carnephelia thought. It's not death she's afraid of. She truly feels guilty for not standing up for me. And that's more than enough. She smiled. Let's do this. Why don't we save each other? If you look out for me, I'll do the same. Let's find a way to survive in the royal palace. As you said, I'm weak and young. Maybe that's why I consider you a kindred spirit. I may be a royal, but everyone looks down upon me. And you're nothing but a servant from a lowly background. We can't get any lower than this. The only way for us is up. Trua's eyes widened. I didn't think you could look so determined. She knelt and declared, I, Trua Helton, pledge to serve Her Highness Carnephelia Hellsdante, second princess of Hellsdante, for eternity. Carnephelia smiled. That look, she reminds me a bit of LL. She said gently, be prepared, Trua. Serving the cursed princess of Hellsdante won't be easy. Suddenly, a furious voice echoed. What did you say? How dare you show such arrogance? The emperor stormed in, eyes blazing. Carnephelia. The West Banquet Hall. Carnephelia tilted her head. The West Banquet Hall? The royal chamberlain bowed. Yes, Your Highness. We're getting the West Banquet Hall ready for your birthday. Carnephelia chuckled softly. Oh, that's more than I expected. His Majesty hopes you won't feel too burdened by the decision. I see. You can take your leave now. Yes, Your Highness. Carnephelia's thoughts darkened. The West Banquet Hall. I can almost see the wheels turning in Father's head. Everyone knows that this particular hall is reserved for the third princess, Renabella Hellsdante. My father made his intentions crystal clear when he chose the West Banquet Hall to hold my party. Is this his way of testing me? Well then, let's put myself through the test. Aloud, she commanded. LL, take whatever money left in my budget and donate it to the orphanage. And please tell the servant outside to come on in. LL nodded and left. A young servant entered hesitantly. Did you call for me, Your Highness? Carnephelia asked calmly. Do you know whether Nanny has returned or not? She did not, Your Highness. Please let me know if you need anything. I'll make the necessary preparations. Carnephelia's gaze sharpened. Well, It's regarding the preparations for my birthday banquet. I'm a bit concerned that it will be taking place in the West Banquet Hall. I feel it's too grandiose for someone like myself. She smirked. So I'm planning on bringing it up to His Majesty. What are your thoughts? The Emperor's dining hall. Carnephelia sat before her father. Thank you for allowing me to join you on such short notice, Your Majesty. The Emperor laughed coldly. Are you scared to eat for fear of being poisoned? I thought you had more in you. Yes, she answered bluntly. It's only natural, since you have yet to receive your blessing. She smiled. You must really believe that I didn't receive the blessing. That must be why you decided to hold my party in the West Banquet Hall. The Emperor's expression turned. What? Doesn't the West Banquet Hall meet your expectations? Carnephelia leaned forward. The West Banquet Hall belongs to the third princess, who has no right to ascend the throne. It's no place to have my birthday banquet. What would the nobles think if the banquet was held at the West Hall? Surely they would turn up their noses and downgrade the significance of being in line to the throne. Or, will the third princess also be given the right of succession? The Emperor slammed his fist. What did you say? How dare you show such arrogance? Carnephelia. She kept her voice even. You have it all wrong, Your Majesty. I only say this because I know exactly where I stand. He roared. I want everyone to leave this room immediately. A servant worriedly thought. This won't do. She has to convince His Majesty to change the venue. The Chamberlain bowed. We must take our leave. The door shut behind them. Inside, the Emperor thought darkly. The twit is greedy and cunning. And I have no idea what's going through that little head of hers. She stared directly at him. You can stop testing me, Your Majesty. He narrowed his gaze. How can she be so self-assured? It's as if she already sees my every move. The more I look at her, the more interested I become. Carnephelia said, I may be more useful than you think, Your Majesty. You're rubbing your palms with glee at the thought of pitting myself against my brother in ride. So you want to test me to see if I'm up to par with him. Am I correct? The Emperor smirked. Well then, tell me in your own words. Just how far are you willing to go? She replied boldly. Your Majesty, the venue where I'd like to hold my birthday banquet is the Empress's palace. What did you just say? Elsewhere in the palace, a servant whispered. Well, the thing is, the second princess's birthday banquet won't be held at the West Banquet Hall. Rather, it will take place at the South Banquet Hall. Dicella Rachel, Empress of Hellsdante. She threw her crown to the floor in fury. How can that twat have her banquet at the South Banquet Hall? I didn't dethrone Erlatina so that the little wench could have a banquet there before me. She raged. I should have killed her when I had the chance. I need to go out. Make the preparations. The doors opened. Your Majesty, the servant gasped. Erlatina's chamber. Erlatina looked up calmly. Your Majesty. What brings you to my humble abode? Smack. Dicella slapped her across the face. Erlatina merely smiled. Greetings to the moon of our empire. Dicella spat. How dare you look me in the face and smile? You could hardly raise your face in my presence before. Erlatina grabbed her hand. Let go of my hand right this minute. Have you already forgotten? There's no guarantee that you'll be the Empress forever. I'm a prime example. Dicella trembled. Are you finished talking? You must not value your life. Do you know who you're addressing? I was gracious enough to let you stay in the palace. You have no clue how easy it would be to get rid of you. The way I got rid of that son of yours that you loved so much. A voice cut through. How interesting. It was the Emperor. Did you say you'd get rid of Erlatina like you did away with the first prince? Dicella. Erlatina is still recovering from her illness. Treat her with more care. Dicella turned pale. Your Majesty, there seems to be a misunderstanding. The Emperor frowned. What happened to your face? It's bruised. Call for the royal physician. Dicella's thoughts spiraled. This won't do. This won't do at all. No, no, no. At this rate, she'll become Empress again, and I'll be dethroned. I can't let that happen. Monfried. I'll call him in. He must come back to the palace and protect me. Back in her room, Carnephelia chuckled. Haha. The rumors are spreading more quickly than I anticipated. In fact, I think I can hear the Empress's screams all the way here in my room. Oh, I wonder when Nanny will return. I'd hate for her to miss out on all the fun. And outside, Nanny stormed down the corridor, fuming. The palace air was tense when the nanny burst through the doors. Your Highness, I heard you went against my word and left your rooms. But as she stormed in, her eyes narrowed in suspicion. Who is that? She thought. Sitting calmly was Carnephelia, smiling softly. Welcome back, Nanny. What took you so long? The nanny raised her hand in frustration. Why you? But then she froze. Her eyes widened. Isn't that a royal physician? It seems His Majesty sent the oldest and most useless one to attend to the second princess. She turned sharply, her voice cold. There was no need to call for the royal physician over something so trifle. She continued, condescending and dismissive. Her Highness has been frail since she was a child. She bleeds often from the nose. There's no need for you to be here, as the bleeding usually stops on its own. The royal physician, unfazed, asked gently, Do you suffer nosebleeds often, Your Highness? May I take a look at your hand? The nanny's thoughts grew dark. Did she just ignore me? Carnephelia extended her hand silently to the physician. But the nanny was far from done. I asked you to leave. Her Highness needs her rest. Carnephelia turned and glared at her. Why is she looking at me like that? The nanny thought, confused. And then crack. The physician struck the floor with her cane, shouting, Shame on you. What do you mean she was frail as a child? Her Highness is still of tender age. Her voice rose with fury. Nosebleeds are still a form of bleeding. How dare a mere nanny treat it as if it were nothing? She seethed. You're supposed to be her caretaker. TSK. Her Highness is weak and frail because of your incompetence. Calming slightly, the physician said, I'll send over the medicine shortly. Make sure Her Highness takes them on time. Carnephelia then said calmly, Trua, LL. Please escort the royal physician back to her quarters. Of course. Trua replied with a bow. The royal physician, near retirement, had long served the royal family. In the nanny's eyes, she probably seemed old and powerless. But being scolded so publicly, Nanny was fuming. Your Highness, ever since you started acting out, people have started to look down upon me. I don't deserve to be treated this way. But Carnephelia remained quiet. Yes, get angrier. Keep going, she thought. Show the world how insolent you are. Why are you suddenly acting this way? You were such an angel. Why did you change? The nanny demanded. You should know your place. Think of your background, Your Highness. She hissed. You should consider yourself blessed to have a nanny that looks out for you like I do. I'm the only one who genuinely cares for you. So why aren't you listening to me? Her voice dropped to a venomous whisper. You see, the higher you climb, the more satisfying it will be to watch you fall. Then she said coldly, you should be content with what you have, instead of craving things you can't possibly reach. She sneered. Why are you looking at me like that? Are you thinking of something silly again? Do you still believe you have a chance at ascending the throne? Carnephelia finally spoke, voice steady. Your memory must be failing you, Nanny. She smiled sweetly. I'm in line to the throne. Or have you already forgotten? She clapped lightly. I also realize that I have the power to make my own decisions. What do you mean? The nanny asked, alarmed. Carnephelia giggled. For example, I have the right to hire and fire the staff from my palace. That's nonsense, the nanny shouted. But servants suddenly appeared and grabbed her arms, escorting her out. The nanny trembled. Are you removing me from my post? Carnephelia waved serenely. That's right, nanny. Take care. You can't do this to me, Your Highness, she screamed. Let me go. Get your hands off me. You're making a big mistake, Your Highness. You won't survive in the royal palace without me. You won't last a day without me. Carnephelia sighed. She's so loud. Will you shut the door? Yes, Your Highness. The maid answered, quickly closing it. Trua stepped forward. I'm sorry, ma'am, but Her Highness needs her rest. Please stop causing a ruckus and take your leave now. The door slammed. Outside, the nanny collapsed to the floor. How dare you? She whispered. Then she shouted, How dare you? Trua stood inside, thoughts racing. Her Highness got rid of the nanny, but I'm not sure whether this was a good idea. Rumors will spread throughout the palace. So many questions rushed through Trua's mind, but she stayed silent. For the second princess looked utterly unbothered, as if she were above it all. Carnephelia took a sip of tea. This is medicinal tea, isn't it? How very kind of you. After Nanny's removal, the palace was abuzz. Everyone talked about the second princess for betraying the only person who had looked out for her. Of course, they all knew who the source of the gossip was. Carnephelia sat reading, unfazed. Nanny can spew lies about me for all I care. But your banquet is right around the corner, Your Highness, Trua said, worried. Everyone will be gossiping about you. They've been gossiping about me even before this incident took place, Carnephelia replied. It makes no difference to me. Trua blinked. Well, Her Highness is right, Trua thought. Even the staff working at her palace were constantly talking about her behind her back. How can she be so calm about it? Sometimes, it's hard to believe that Her Highness is still a mere child. Carnephelia glanced up. If you're still worried, why don't you go spy on Nanny on my behalf? You wish for me to spy on the nanny? Trua asked. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for the task, but I'll do the best I can. You don't have to. It was just a passing thought, Carnephelia said gently. Well then, let's find a task more suited for you. Pardon? Trua blinked. It doesn't have to be a special task. I'm sure we'll find something that you're good at. And when you do, will you let me know? You're my people, Trua. I'd like to get to know you better. Your Highness. Trua said, moved. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. What is it, LL? Carnephelia asked. LL entered quietly and handed over a letter. A letter? Carnephelia asked, surprised. Trua gasped. This is. Carnephelia smiled knowingly. Yes. It's an invitation from the third princess. She opened it and read aloud. I heard there was a change of venue for your birthday banquet. To thank you for not using the West Banquet Hall and to congratulate you on your upcoming birthday, I'd like to invite you to play dolls with me tonight. I hope you'll accept my invitation. Renabella Vin Hels Dante. Carnephelia looked up, amused. When will my new doll be arriving?